Welcome. Today I will be going through the installation process and very basic running of Snort on Windows operating system. Snort is a free intrusion detection system and intrusion prevention system. However, the IPS is only available on Linux and Unix machines, so I won't be getting into that. The first thing you want to do is go to snort.org, and they have a Windows tab with an exe file that you can download. You will also need rules. And so there's community rules that anyone can download. Registered, you have to create an account, and subscription is paid. I will be working with kind of a combination of community and registered. You're also going to want to make sure that you have WinPCAP installed. If you've previously installed Wireshark or something similar, you may already have it. But if you don't, make sure you download that. So once you have exe, just run it like any other executable. I've already got it installed, so I'm not going to go through that. But once you do, you'll probably want to make sure that it installed correctly. And you can check that it installed correctly by navigating into the Snort directory and typing snort-V to get the version. So once it's installed, you will have this Snort directory in your C drive with all of these files. We want to pull out some. We downloaded this archive file with rules and pre-processing rules. So we will extract those in the pre-proc rules folder and the rules folder, and you want to make sure all of these get into your directory in those corresponding folders. So once you've done that, I think we can start configuring Snort. So within the etc folder, there is a snort.config file. And there's a number of things we have to do. The first thing you're going to want to do is set up your home network IP address, the external net, which you can just reference the home net variable with the not operator, so that anything that's not your home network will be considered an external network. I'm going to be saying this a lot, but because we're on Windows instead of a Linux or Unix machine, these paths will originally be set up with forward slashes, and you're going to have to change all of them to backslashes and set up the actual path to your directory. But don't do a global replace, because there are places within the Snort configuration file that do need forward slashes. So you'll want to set the rule path and the pre-proc rule path. You'll also want to set a path for your whitelist and blacklist, and we'll create those files a little bit later. In step 2, we go all the way to the bottom of step 2, and you're going to want to set the log path. We don't need to do anything in step 3. Step 4, we want to uncomment dynamic processor directory and dynamic engine, and make sure you have the correct path for both of those. I believe this file name originally was libsf_engine.so, so you'll want to change it to sf engine.dll. And you can leave the third one here commented, because that's not going to be used on the Windows system. These can all be commented out because it has nothing to do with IDS, which is the only mode we're running on Windows. I've uncommented port scan, which allows you to see if anybody's trying to scan your ports. Here is where you'll also set up your white and blacklist paths. Make sure to change the / to a backslash, and this is actually a good time to create the white and blacklist files. I think originally in the document they're written as whitelist.rules and blacklist.rules. However, they are lists of IP addresses instead of actual snort rules, so I have them written in this fashion, I guess to distinguish them from the other rules. And they will still go into the rules folder. This is what they'll look like, and it would just, as you blacklist or whitelist IP addresses, you would insert them into these files. Step 6 is where you would set up system log output, but I'm going to run everything to the console, so we don't need to do anything there. Step 7 is where all your rule paths are. I'm just concerned with local.rules, so that's the only one I have uncommented. I've commented everything else out, but anything that you do have uncommented, make sure that you're changing the / to a backslash for all of these. Step 8, you're going to want to do the same thing with the slashes. Make sure they're backslashes and uncomment these. And at that point, I think we are good with our configuration file, so you can save that. Then we will open up our local rules file. And I've already inserted 3 rules. They're all alert rules for ICMP, UDP, and TCP. They're just like basic test rules. When you're writing rules, this would be the rule action, the alert, the protocol. This would be the source, the destination, the message, and an ID number. So once you have these rules written, you can save your rules file, and I think we are good to... We should probably test snort first. So you will write snort.I, which is for the interface, and I guess we should probably figure out the interface first. So to figure out what interface to use, you can type snort-W, and you can see I have 3 options. I had to try each one to figure out which one would work. The first one for me works. In this testing command, snort-I is for interface, and I'm using interface 1, -C and the path to the configuration file, and -T for testing. So I'll run that. And at the end, it should say Snort successfully validated the configuration, Snort exiting. So that means it's working. And now we can actually run Snort and look for packets. So it should say commencing packet processing, and we will start to get some traffic. We get a couple TCP alerts and a UDP alert. So that will run continuously until you decide to stop it. Control C will end and exit. It gives you this breakdown of statistics of what was captured. So these are some pretty basic just testing rules, but you can read more to learn about how to write Snort rules. There's a lot of different rule actions that allow you to like log or ignore packets, or even activate other rules that you've written. You can also look for content, so for like specific websites that people might be visiting. But that's the basics of how to get Snort installed and up and running. Thank you.